So I want to make a video about the 3 best choices I ever made in my life. I got to thinking about this. Like, what decisions have I made that I am the happiest about, that have had the greatest positive impacts on my life? Physically, spiritually, socially, in pretty much every aspect of my life. Each of these decisions I'm going to talk about has just revolutionized how I go about my day, how I feel, how I interact with people. And so let's start. The first one is choosing to go vegan. And a lot of people have some negative stereotypes about vegans, but about 5 years ago, more than 5 years ago now, I just decided to try it out. I'd always been interested in finding the healthiest diet. So for me, it was first about seeing how I felt, seeing if I felt better, if I could perform better athletically. So I gave it a try. For about a week, I was vegetarian, and then because I usually go for things 100%, I felt like I was half-assing it. So I went vegan, and I never went back. And the longer I was vegan, the better I felt about it, the more reasons I had to keep doing it. Not only did I feel awesome, I gained weight, I gained muscle mass, I never or almost never get sick anymore, and just every aspect of my physicality has improved. I feel clearer, I get less stuffy noses, I can breathe better, all of this. But that isn't even the most important reason why I stayed vegan. I stayed vegan for myself, but also for animals. I realized that if I could live a life happy and healthy without hurting other creatures to feed myself, then why wouldn't I do that? I consider myself a kind person. I consider myself to be someone who wouldn't cause others pain if I didn't have to. So why would I do that with my wallet? You know, a lot of people have this disconnect between what's on their plate and the life that was sacrificed to provide that. And if you've ever hunted or butchered your own animals, then you actually know what it means to eat meat or to eat dairy or eggs. And I hadn't done that before going vegan. But once I went vegan, I started looking up videos about factory farm conditions. Basically, animals are stuffed into tiny pens and live horrible, suffering lives just so that we can eat their flesh or their products. And honestly, veganism became so much easier for me after that, because it aligned not only with how I wanted to feel physically, but also with my values. I realized that this is right for me. This is who I am. And then third, more recently, I realized how huge of an impact the animal industry has on the environment. And I consider myself an environmentalist. So when I learned that more than 1/3 of the planet's land mass is dedicated to raising animal products for our consumption, I mean, wow, that blew my mind. 90% of the rainforest in the Amazon that's been cut down and cleared has been cleared for animal products. You know, to grow grain to feed the animals, or for the animals to graze, to store the animals. It just blows my mind how inefficient it is to raise animals for food, because you have to feed the animals grain that you grew, and you have to water the animals, cattle especially, drink like 30 gallons a day. That's an incredible amount of resources. Why don't we just feed people the grains and the water that we're feeding to the animals? We could feed many more people than currently live on the planet. So that's my propaganda about veganism. That's the #1 best decision I've ever made. I just feel more in tune with the world, more in harmony with the people and the creatures around me. But that's enough of that. On to #2. Second best decision I ever made was to stop using pornography and to stop masturbating. Yeah, about more than a year ago now, I realized how harmful my masturbation habits had become in my life. I've been addicted to porn since I was about 9 years old, and it had affected me in ways I never realized. I've talked about this in my other videos, so I won't harp on it too much, but I had sexual dysfunction, I had social anxiety, I had a lack of ambition and drive, and my emotions were numbed. And all of these cleared up and improved the longer I was away from porn and masturbation. And I'm so much more in harmony with my sexuality now. I'm I'm so much more in tune with it. It doesn't control me. I use it and I channel it in productive ways. And when I am with a woman, I use it to create something beautiful. Whereas before, sex for me was never very good at all. Number 3, not giving a fuck. That's the third best decision I ever made, and it echoes throughout everything I do. I, for a long time, tended to live my life according to what was expected of me, what would please others. I didn't do this consciously. No one does this consciously, I don't think, but I made big choices in my life based on what my parents expected of me, what society expected of me, what I thought was required to be successful in this world. And then, a while back, I just realized people don't know what they're talking about. When they prescribe a life for other people, no one can do that. Only you can choose, or only I can choose, what's best for me. And that's when I just stopped caring about what other people thought of the actions I took when those actions were in harmony with my principles. When those actions were things that I really wanted to do. I just did them because they made me happy, because I thought they were worthwhile. And a lot of people really resonate with that when they see you do that, because that's a courageous thing to do. It's making yourself vulnerable, and it's putting yourself out there in a way that a lot of people aren't willing to do. So a lot of people do admire me for those things that I do that seem courageous, like talking about my porn addiction to the world. But there are also those who frown on that, who frown on the decisions, the lifestyle choices I make, who disapprove. But I don't give a fuck. And I'm a lot happier for it. And those are the 3 best decisions I've ever made in my life. I'd really like to hear what your best decisions have ever been. What choices have you made that totally changed how you live for the better? I'd love to hear about them, because maybe they're choices I want to make. So please tell me in the comments or make a response video, whatever you like. Adios. Yes, I think I will subscribe.